place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
The other dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?
Good morning. I'm going to steal a phrase from my buddy, James Hemsley. If you woke up, you're winning. I'm going to repeat it. If you woke up, you're winning. James Hemsley, a.k.a. Pooney, my dude. Welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics. It's me, Mr. FSP, doing what I do because I do it for you all day. And right off the bat, my boy Chris, who's going to watch his Cubs lose to the Yankees, says the least favorite division in all of the NFL. We're going to talk about the NFC West. It's his least favorite division, which is fine. I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. But now that Tom Brady has retired, will he really be a Pats fan? Will he really be a Bucks fan? He lives in the Florida area, so I don't know. But welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics, and it's going to be a hoop today. We're going to talk about the NFC West, a little bit about what's going on in the news, and then, oh, baby, I did that on purpose. I plan to talk about the fantasy league that I run. Oh, man. The natives are restless, and it's July 8th, which is outstanding. I really wish we were restless all throughout the non-football playing season, but it's okay. One of my favorite songs by Prince is Controversy. And we're going to have a little bit today. I plan to bring the noise. What up, House? How you doing, my brother? House is a Raiders fan. He's talking about getting into podcasts, and I'll be here to support him. But let me bring in my co-host, because he doesn't have up his background for no reason. That's all I'm going to say at that point. He's just JT ATM money.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
What the heck is going on, what the heck?
I don't know, but I'm not worried about it right now. We're on to the NFC West. Well, first, let's talk about what's going on in the news of the NFL. Not a lot of news going on. Not a lot. But I do want to bring this question up to you, because a player that left the NFC West seemingly, and I'm going to say seemingly because we don't know all there is to know about the situation, seemingly is not chasing a ring. It's chasing money. One of my favorite players in the NFL currently, and that's Mr. Hopkins. He made a statement this week that he has no plans to retire, but when he does, it's going to be because he can't make 1,000 yards receiving. And even though he missed 6 games and was injured for the last 2, he was on pace last year for 1,400 yards in 11 games had he played the last 2. I want that to stick in y'all craw a little bit. He missed the first 6 games. Did not play the last 2. That's 8 games. So in 9 games, 1,200 yards. Now, the big teams that I would love to see him play for, Kansas City, Buffalo, I don't know how they make it work in Cincinnati. I'd love to see him play for my team, but I know there's no chance in hell because we don't got the money to pay him. And right now, in my opinion, we aren't on the march to the championship. Washington. I know Jerry wants him in Cleveland. They ain't got the money.
They do have the money, but that's okay. They do have the money.
Then he's not looking to go there because to me it seems like he's wanting money and not the championship. But again, there's stuff going behind the screens or the scenes that we don't know. And I just want to get your thoughts on, where do you think he's going to land and about his comments?
I have no idea. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. D-Hop and Cook, that ain't happening. Come on, man. I tell you one thing.
Patriots already had Cook, by the way.
Well, Dalvin Cook is not willing to accept.
Oh, Dalvin.
Wait a minute. Dalvin Cook is not willing to accept what the Dolphins are offering. That's the problem with a quality running back. And besides Dalvin Cook, there's others that they're getting low balls. He's not willing to accept that low ball offer. I imagine it's less than what he's asking for, and not even comparable to what he's worth. Let me put it that way. So, it's going to go to a prolonged conclusion somewhere, where he feels that whoever has the money is able to give out that money to for what he wants. Otherwise, he'll sit out. Let me put it that way. DeAndre Hopkins, I have no idea. No idea. Now, the Browns will have clear cap space that will be able to offer him a decent contract. You can make faces all you want, but that's a fact. They've cleared cap space over the last month, if I'm not mistaken, and they have double-digit cap space to offer.
$10.
They have at least $10 million. At least $10 million.
Okay. I said double digits. That's only 10. So.
Yeah, at least $10 million to offer DeAndre Hopkins, but he's probably looking for a place that
can win.
Okay, and doesn't have a bunch of mouths to feed, and that's key.
That's true.
And that he can be a significant target wherever he goes. So
he's a significant target regardless, in my opinion. He's significant regardless. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to say something because Chris is going to watch his baseball game. And I want to make sure I get this in. I want to ask the question, if he does go to New England, does that make Matt Jones a viable quarterback in fantasy? Because right now, Juju's there, and he's a good number 2, not a number 1. Hop would be the clear number 1. They've got Devontae Parker, who's also explosive when he can be healthy. That's a good threesome, but they're a run-heavy team, and they will be blocking mostly in that system. But honestly, does that – because I thought about this on the way home Thursday. Had San Francisco got Mac Jones instead of Trevor, I think Mac Jones will be considered a superstar right now. Because look at what Brock Purdy is the same thing as Jimmy G. Now I get it; they didn't want to get a Jimmy G clone, but if that was the formula that worked, you know what I'm saying? And he's younger and he's not injured, why not? But the question is, D-Hop
can I finish?
Going to New England, does that make Mac Jones a viable fantasy or real life quarterback?
I don't want to think about him going to New England. He ain't going to New England. Well, that's
the question.
He's not going to New England because the simple fact is, where you don't want him to go, that team's still interested in him. I'm just seeing an article that the KC Chiefs are still interested and are
Well, I want him to go to KC. I
still,
want him to go to KC.
still talking to DeAndre Hopkins. So there's a possibility that he might wind up with Patrick Mahomes. So
That's dangerous.
hey, I'm not. Hey, whatever it is,
That is dangerous.
I'm just saying, he ain't going to Mac Jones, the New England Patriots, and Bill O'Brien. That ain't happening.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if he goes to Kansas City, he's my automatic keeper. You can keep Ridley. You can keep him.
I'm glad you said that. I got a good surprise for you, ass.
Whatever. But look, I agree with Chris. If he goes to KC, no other teams should even play football. No one will beat them. And I fully agree with that because you got Kelsey and D-Hop. The end zone or the red zone targets between the two. And don't forget, I'm going to tell you a sleeper that you haven't talked about.
I had said this months ago.
Wait a minute. Let me get this out before you say that. Let me say this real quick. Kadarius Toney is a player no one's thinking about right now. And I'm going to put it out there, you little thief. I know you're a little thief because you got Ridley from me. But I know you don't like Kadarius Toney. I know you don't. But what I'm telling you is I see him being a bigger part of that offense. And you got, if Hop goes there, him, Kelsey, Toney, and Pacheco, I think it's going to be, and Pat stays healthy. Oh, my. Lions, Tigers, Bears, oh, my. Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you right now, Kadarius Toney is this year's version of Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, my God. I knew he's going to put him down. I knew you were going to put him down.
Kadarius Toney is this year's hype of Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm telling you.
But okay. But Juju he had a good year last year. It wasn't spectacular, but it was good. So, I mean, but if you put Hop in there with Kelsey and he gives you production like Juju did last year, that's still really good, guy.
I'm telling you, Juju was extremely inconsistent. Extremely inconsistent.
Okay.
If you were a fantasy player and you put Juju Smith-Schuster in each and every week, you never know what you're going to get. You could got 2 points, you could have got 20 points. You don't know, and you can't play fantasy football and put them in a position, a flex or whatever, and not get consistent play. You got to put somebody in there if you want to win that you think is going to give you consistent play. And Juju Smith-Schuster, just like Kadarius Toney this year, is not going to give you that.
Well, I know Chris hopes differently, but I'm going to bring out a retro item. I don't know if you see this. This is the Fantasy Sports and Politics shirt I had made so many years ago. And this will be my attire for the remainder of the existence of Fantasy Sports Politics, or if I grow out of it. But I'm going down in size, so I'm not going to grow out of it. But I say that as a retro. Juju has never been a number one, but when he's had a real number one, Juju has been very productive. And if he, meaning D-Hop, goes to New England, this is part of the question as to why I asked about Matt Jones, which you never answered. If he goes to New England, my opinion is Matt Jones becomes a really viable, listen to me now, top 12 quarterback in the NFL and in fantasy.
Okay.
Especially under Bill O'Brien, a system he already knows because he did it in college.
I'm the type of guy on this show that right now I'm not going to dispute what you say because you have
on this show. I know what you're saying.
You have your opinion. I have mine. Okay.
I don't mind you disputing it.
You say that Mac Jones is going to be a top 12 quarterback in fantasy.
Wait
a minute, let me finish.
Hey, calm No, I'm saying
Let me finish. Yeah, you interrupted.
interrupt.
If Mac Jones gets DeAndre Hopkins on his team,
Yes.
okay, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. I'm not disputing it. Remember that. Remember
But I asked you the question.
Look. I just said.
You're not disputing, but are you? I mean, do you feel a certain way about it?
I'm just saying. You just said that Mac Jones will be a top 12 quarterback if DeAndre Hopkins is going to the New England Patriots. I'm saying you have your opinion.
Okay.
And I'm listening to that. I'm not going to go back and forth with you.
Well, no, I'm asking you your opinion, though. That's the question.
Oh, no, because I know where this is going, and I'm not going to fall into it.
We're not going anywhere. I'm just asking an opinion of you, bro.
I disagree. I don't think Mac Jones
Okay.
Wait a minute. I disagree. I don't think Mac Jones is a decent quarterback and gets nowhere near number 12. Nowhere near number 12.
You just said you don't think he's a decent quarterback.
See, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying that's what you just said. I don't think
I don't think he's a decent quarterback. At least I don't think he's a top 12 quarterback. I'll put it that way. And
with Hopkins or just period?
I don't think with Hopkins he's the top 12 quarterback. How's that?
Okay. I mean, that's fine. That's all I was asking. You didn't have to get that natural about, well, it's your opinion. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, come on, dude. We're having a conversation, discussion. I need you to save that energy because I know it's coming at the end of the show when we talk about the league. Because I know that's the energy I'm going to get.
No.
But, okay. So that's that topic. Let's move on to what everybody's here for.
Okay.
Outside the argument between you and I. The NFC West. You know what, Jerry? When we were on Blog Talk, I would play a music bed, right? Lemonade.
Okay.
I didn't bring Lemonade over. I didn't bring it over.
Okay.
I should have. But if I brought Lemonade over, I wouldn't be able to play it under what we're going to do.
Well, that's true. Yeah, okay.
So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a little night driving. Now, I'm going to give you a little rock. Because we're about to talk about the NFC West. So, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a little loud.
It is. I didn't think it was too loud.
It's really loud.
Okay, all right. I'll bring it down a little bit. I like it right there. If that's too loud for you, let me know. Look at him. Look. Chris says, JT, wow. JT, show some love. JT ain't got no love, y'all. He ain't got no love. But here we go. In fact,
what team are we going to first?
Huh?
What team are we going to
first? That's what I was about to say. Wait a minute. I just did it, JT. Here's the thing. I'm going to show JT some love because I know he wants to get this out of his system. And I decided purposefully to bring this team up first. Because I know the vitriol is going to come. I know it's going to come. But Q said something last week that I think we need to adopt. When we do the divisional games, just notate it somewhere so we don't have to repeat them. You know what I'm saying? So we get the records for the teams. You follow me? You hear me, JT?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So therefore, we're going to do all the games for Arizona and so on and so forth. When we get down to like the last team, we don't need to say, okay, well, Arizona's going to beat blah, 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 because we already said it. The Arizona Cardinals are a shambles. They are a skeleton of what they could have been. You cannot blame that solely on the coach. You cannot blame that solely on Kyler Murray. But you can lay a great deal of the blame on the ownership. Maybe even the GM. The GM and the ownership decided they were going to hire Kingsbury. The GM and ownership decided they were going to draft Kyler Murray number one overall after drafting Rosen number one overall the year before. Now, did they make some great choices? Buda Baker, in my opinion, was probably the best draft pick that the two made. And yes, that does include my guy, Kyler Murray. I love Kyler. But Buda, believe it or not, is the heart and soul of that team. And you know what? That heart wants a transplant. A guy, now I'm going to say this. The young man that came out of Clemson, there was a hybrid linebacker, defensive end. My opinion, I thought he was going to be the next Javon Curse. I believe the system they put him in did not allow him to flourish. There's a new head coach. That's a defensive-minded head coach. Philly couldn't hold leads, but they blitzed that outside linebacker a lot. I see that young man coming in those things. But if Boone's not there, the secondary's jacked up. Kyler's not going to be there till probably mid to late season. We don't know who the starting quarterback's going to be. Is James Conner's going to be effective now that Hop's gone? Is Hollywood Brown going to do what he did last year, which was exceed the standard prior to Hopkins coming back? That's key. Can Zach Ertz be that bailout guy? If Buda is not on this team by the start of the season, I'm going to predict Arizona will only win one game. That's with Kyler coming back towards the end of the season. That gives, and I said all this stuff about the owner and the GM to set this up. And Jerry's going to say, what? Arizona would have the first overall pick in the draft next year. Caleb Williams is the number one overall consensus draft pick coming out of college. Kyler Murray, though he has that contract, will get Rosen. That's what I said. JT, your thoughts on Arizona?
I think Arizona wins about 4 games. That's what I'm thinking. I'm seeing their schedule, and it's not an easy schedule.
Not at all.
And I think that the start of the season is key, and they play at the Washington Commanders or whoever Washington's name is going to be.
There we go.
They played three straight games against the NFC East.
Yes.
And I can't see them winning any of those. And then after those 3 games against the NFC East, they play a division rival in the San Francisco 49ers.
Hey, man, don't go down the schedule yet. I know what you're saying, but don't go down the schedule just yet.
Let me put it this way. I see them winning max 4 games.
Is that with Kyler or without him?
It won't make a difference because they're not going to be a good team. Regardless of Kyler, they're not going to be a good team. And I can't see them going through the schedule, I can't see them winning more than 4 games. And they'll be lucky to win 4 games. Let me put it that way.
I totally agree with you.
So,
Totally agree with you.
so
You ready?
they have a horrible beginning of the
Yes.
season. Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, I agree. That's why I said, that's exactly why I said, I see them winning 1 game. That might change as I start thinking, but my initial thought when I saw the schedule, 1. Just 1.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't mention anything or comment on my thoughts about Caleb Williams supplanting my guy Kyler in next year's draft. I was surprised, but you might be reserving your feelings because you don't want to do anything.
See, you never assume, because you know what assume does.
Oh
So
my
you
God.
start assuming things that I'm going to say or do, you'll be way off. So don't go there. I'm imploring you. I'm pleading with you. Don't go there.
I want to go there because I want the emotion.
You don't want. You're not
All
going.
right, here we go.
You're not
Here
going.
we go. You ready?
You're not going to get it. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I know I'm gonna get it. I already saw it at the beginning when you were like,
You're not going to get it. Trust me. Trust me. You're not going to get it.
all right, let me get that blood pressure up when we talk about the league. I already know that, but I don't want to get it right now.
Hey, let me put it this way. Never mind. I'll wait till we get to the league.
See,
I'll wait.
I
I'll wait.
already started. It
I'll
already
wait.
started.
No, I'll wait till we get to the league. No problem. This is your show. We have an agenda. We're going with the NFC West, and then after that, we're going to go into whatever things you have to say about the league. No problem.
All right, here we go. As JT mentioned a little earlier, the Arizona Cardinals open up with the Washington Commanders in Washington. This isn't a homer pick, though. This is not a homer pick. Washington's gonna whoop that butt.
I'm
I
about
got Washington winning.
Okay. I agree. They're facing first 3 games, like I said, they're facing the NFC East. They ain't going to win any of those. They're not going to win any of them.
Okay, so we can agree on that. They're gonna lose to the Giants next, even at home. They're gonna lose to the Cowboys after that at home. Week 4, it doesn't get any better because I don't care if it's Trevor, Purdy, or my guy from the Jets. His name just escaped me that quick.
Mike White?
No. Who's the Jets quarterback? The guy drafted was seeing ghosts. I forgot his name that quick. Here's a number 2 overall pick.
Sam
Darnold. Sam Darnold. It doesn't matter if it's any of those 3 quarterbacks.
Right.
Week 4 at San Francisco, they're getting washed. What you got?
doesn't get any better. They play Cincinnati at home.
Are you saying they're gonna lose to San Fran as well, right?
Absolutely.
All right. They're gonna lose at home to Cincinnati in week 5. They're starting the season 0-5.
0-6.
Well, we ain't got to the 6th game yet, but I agree with you. They're gonna start the season 0-6. Yo, I know what you're saying. Can I set it up before we get to it?
Okay.
All right. So the Rams, they go to the Rams. We both agree they're going to lose to the Rams. Then, week 7, they go on the road and lose to Seattle. And I'm not a big freaking Seattle Seahawks fan. That's an L. We're almost halfway through the season. They have not won a game.
Well, guess what? Guess
It
what?
doesn't get any better.
It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better.
Week 8. Baltimore comes to them.
Don't make a difference. That's
It
an L.
doesn't make a difference.
That's an L.
It's an L. And
It don't get any better.
Yeah, it don't. It does not, ladies and gentlemen. Week 9 at Cleveland. That's an L.
That's an L. Come on,
Week
man.
10. Now here's the thing. Week 10 or week 11, Kyler is supposed to come back. But in week 10, it doesn't matter. Atlanta, in my opinion, is way better than Arizona.
So what are you saying? Are they going to lose to Atlanta at home? Or
I am.
Okay.
I am.
All right.
Here's the lone opportunity.
Yes. One of them. One of them.
To me, this is the lone opportunity. They're at Houston, but that's the thing. They're at Houston.
Houston plays well at home. I tell you that.
That's what I'm getting to, JT. If this is Kyler's first game back on turf in Houston, and D'Amico Ryans went on record this week saying this is one of the best linebacker rooms he has ever had. I want y'all to think about that. He has Fred Warner, Greenlaw, and a few others in San Francisco. He has. But the key to this game is how does CJ lead this team up to this point? Are the Texans competitive? Is the question. Are they competitive? I don't know. I'm gonna give it because I believe Kyler will be back for this one. I'm gonna give Arizona their first win. Week 11 though. They're 1-10.
I gave them a win also. But the next game is a division rival at home.
I don't care.
Okay.
Arizona's going to lose. Listen, they're not going to win any games in their division, in my opinion. The Rams are going to beat them. The Rams are going to beat them.
I'm going to give Arizona
Kyler's back.
a win.
I got it. But I think the team will be so dejected. Buda Baker would have been traded by now. And it's like they're tanking for the first overall pick. Now, will they try to parlay that into more picks or go for Caleb? I think they'll go for Caleb. That's my thoughts. What do you think about the Rams?
I think they split with the Rams. I think they win back 2 games in a row. I think they win 2 games in a row.
Really?
I think they split with the division rivals. Okay, the Rams. Let me put it this way: the Rams are a NFC West, like the LA Chargers are like in the AFC West. They're like this. You never know what you're going to get with the Rams and Sam Bradford. And they're playing on the road against a division rival. That's the reason why I'm giving them a win. Because I'm thinking we're going to get a lousy game playing against the Rams. Lousy game playing against Arizona. That's what I'm banking on. And I'll give the Arizona Cardinals feeling good about themselves, going back home, playing the Rams at home, division rival. I'm giving them a short-lived winning streak.
Well, it don't get no better because week 13, they go out east to play the Steelers.
They go.
They gonna have to, bro.
Wait a minute.
Kyler might get re-injured with T.J. Watt, Haywood, all them guys coming after him. It's another L. Now, here's the other thing. Oh, who do you got? You got beating Pittsburgh or losing Pittsburgh?
We got to buy it. Week 14.
All right, so you already said they're going to lose to Pittsburgh. Okay. Week 14. So here's the thing. I know. Here's the thing. If Kyler doesn't return by week 11, they might hold them out till after the bye week. But that would make no sense to me because that means you only have like 4 games left or 3 games left. And if your team is 1 or 2 and whatever, why bring back your star quarterback unless you're trying to shock him? Follow me, JT?
We ain't shocking nobody.
I said shock. Shock.
Oh, shop who?
Kyler.
Uh-huh.
If they hold him out
Good
to
luck,
the bye
man.
week,
Good luck.
and
Good
then
luck.
he returns. Well, some teams, listen, some teams that need a young quarterback will consider it. Think about it. They can trade him to Minnesota.
Get some baggage, man. He's got some baggage.
Listen, I got that. I understand that. But he's still young. He's still a winner. And maybe the change of scenery under a sterner coach might give him the insight of the NFL he needs to succeed. Because if you think about it, Kirk Cousins' contract will be up. They really didn't draft anybody to supplant him the following season. They drafted a quarterback, but nobody ready to take over once Kirk is done next year. So they could probably trade Kyler and the contract to Minnesota, who cleared up a ton of cap space so they could pay Justin Jefferson, have Kyler, and see what happens. Just a thought. Just a thought. All right, after the bye week, they come back, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It doesn't get no better. It don't get no better because they're home for San Francisco. L. What you got, JT?
Yeah, I got him, Mel.
Week 16 at Soldier Field in Chicago. Now, here's the deal. This might have been one of them games you would have thought maybe, because this is new Christmas or Christmas Eve, I should say. But it's in Chicago, late December. Arizona is not built to run the ball. Think about that. I don't care if Kyler's there or not. Chicago should win this game. Outside, in the elements, I got Chicago winning. What you got?
I have Arizona.
Woo, you gave them 3 wins.
Yep.
Man, you are generous.
I have Arizona. I'm being generous. See, I'm not a hater. I'm just trying to be realistic here.
You're not a hater of the team. You're a hater of Kyler.
Well, for good reason. For good reason. And I'm not the only one, and you know it.
Well,
So, come on.
listen, all y'all got bias. It's okay. Week 17 at Philadelphia. L. Same?
I'm not going anywhere. Let's move to the next game, because that ain't even worth talking about. That's automatic.
Well, nothing's automatic. But the last game of the season, hosting Seattle. Now, here's the difference. With Kyler back in there, last game of the season, just my opinion, you're going to disagree with me. I think this is going to be the battle of who's going to finish last in the NFC West. But I've only given them 2 wins. I mean, 1 win. So Seattle's definitely going to have more than 1 win, in my opinion. And Seattle sweeps them. What you got?
I got Arizona not playing their top players the last game. And I have Seattle not probably in the playoffs already and not playing their top players either. And since they're playing at home, I'm going to give a win to Arizona.
Okay. All right. Well, I already know I'm 1-16.
I have 4-13. So there's no hate on the team. It's just I'm trying to be realistic here that there's very few teams that only win 1 game. And I don't think Arizona is one of those teams that are talentless that would only win 1 game. I think they're talent poor, but I don't think they're talentless. Okay.
You know what? That's a very good way to look at that. They're not talentless, they're just talent poor.
Yes.
This is like saying you're not homeless, you're just without a house.
You can have an apartment, you don't have to have a house.
Okay, you ain't got nowhere to live. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well,
But
whatever.
hey,
Whatever.
I think they're gonna have the number 1 overall pick in the draft next year, and it's gonna be interesting. All right, let's move on to the next team in the NFC West. I'm gonna save your Seattle Seahawks for after I do this one because
See, this is the deal here, okay?
What?
Just because now, tell me, that doesn't sound like deja vu. Just because I like a quarterback doesn't mean I like the team.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
That's proven. No, for you.
Okay.
That's proven. That's proven for you because you love the Browns only because of Deshaun. So that's a fact for you.
Women. What I'm saying
That is a fact for you.
Oh, no, it's a fact for you too. You just said I like the Seattle Seahawks, but I like Geno Smith. Now, you like Kyler Murray, but you don't
like Arizona.
you're not a big fan of Arizona. Come on, man. Come on.
I like Arizona.
Okay.
But this year,
Yeah.
I don't like Arizona at all.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. It starts with an H and ends with an E. All the other letters are in between spells hypocrite. But that's okay. I understand.
Hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite.
All right.
Hey, listen, you don't see me rooting for the Cardinals to win every game. You don't see me telling the Cardinals and what they can do. You do that, though.
If it walks and acts like a duck,
Like a Jerry,
it must
it's a
be
Jerry.
a duck. It must be
It's
a
a
duck.
Jerry. Yes, it's a
Remember
Jerry.
that. Just remember that.
It's a Jerry, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Starts with an H, ends with an E, and in between it spells
Jerry.
hypocrite.
Jerry.
Hypocrite.
Jerry Sailor. Matter of fact, 4 plus 6 equals 8. No, 4 plus 8 equals 6. I have no idea what that means.
I know that is way over your head, but that's okay.
Hey, listen, I'm pretty good at math. And if you had a 4x plus 6 equals, plus 8 equals 6, I can solve that. But right now, I can't solve that crazy.
I got no problem. No problem. Hey, and let me put it this way. After the draft, you get 4 or 5 more people to pay, and we draft, then I'll let you know.
Oh, you're gonna say you're gonna go from 4 wins plus 8 wins equals 6 what? Because we didn't won 6 times.
You know what? Like I said, you got to know everything. You're nosy.
No, I'm Sherlock Holmes, and you're, get it, Watson. All right, let's move on to Jerry's other man crush quarterback.
And he's going
or he threw him to the side like a side chick. I don't know. Because he hurt his arm.
He's going to prove you guys wrong. I'm telling you.
What? Dodge what ball? You love you some Matthew Stafford. You love you some Geno Smith.
Yeah,
and you absolutely are in love with Deshaun Watson.
Let me put it this way. Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you, Grasshopper.
Oh, explain.
When I told you I like Matthew Stafford, was the year he won the Super Bowl. When I told you I like.
You don't like him anymore?
When I told you I like Geno, he won Comeback Player of the Year. Don't dispute what I'm telling you about these quarterbacks.
No. Oh my God! Like you are a Nostradamus. No.
Look, wait a minute. 2 for 2. I told you I like Matthew Stafford.
Oh my God.
He won
2
the
for
Super
2?
Bowl. I told you I like Geno Smith, and he won quarterback
The
player.
Chicago Cubs can go 2 for 2 at the plate.
Okay.
Today.
How many other players do I have to tell you about that you dispute that workout?
Jerry,
Come on, man. Come on.
Jerry, I can do the same.
Come on.
You know I can do the same, but I don't do that. I can tell you about players that you've been wrong about many times, and I've been right about, but I'm not doing that. But Matthew Stafford returns with my guy. Now you can say this about me. I am feeling and loving Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
I'm loving him.
Okay.
And whether
Who's not?
it's
Who's
Cam
not?
Akers, Sony Michel, and somebody I think they should go after, Dalvin Cook. If they get Dalvin Cook, I think the Rams'
I don't think-
fortune
I don't
would
think
be
they have the cap space, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I don't know. They got rid of a lot of players, namely Jalen.
But they kept Tutu out well.
Well, but listen, Tutu Atwell was a rookie on a rookie contract with speed. Okay, let's talk about it. Because that's a very fair comment. They being the Rams, they traded away Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins for draft picks as a cap catcher. Not because they wanted to get rid of him, but because of the money. They paid Aaron Donald a year or so ago. They paid Matthew Stafford. They paid Cooper Kupp. And they also let Bobby Wagner go. So there are some issues with this team that need to be addressed. That's why I have them finishing either second or third in the NFC West. On the framework of the Rams is young, but still talented. Because you mix in the sage Matthew Stafford, the second leading target getter in Higbee at tight end, my boy Cooper Kupp's returning from an injury, who always gets over 100 plus catches from whoever the quarterback is. Tutu Atwell, second-year receiver / kick returner, explosive dynamic player, should come to his own. Jefferson, who is a young receiver, and his father, by the way, is the wide receiver coach in Arizona. I think you have the mixture for a good gumbo, so to speak, on the offensive side of the ball. The problem is the secondary of the Rams might have a lot of trouble coming their way. If Aaron Donald can't beat the double team and there's no help on the ends, there's going to be problems. It's going to be big problems. And the Rams are going to have to throw at least 45 to 50 times a game. That never bodes well for any team. It never does. Tom Brady being the exception, when the Bucs won the Super Bowl, he was throwing like 40, 45 times a game. But he also had a solid running game in Leonard Fournette. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Leonard Fournette and Dalvin Cook are on free agency right now. J.K. Dobbins decides he's not going to come to minicamp. If the Raiders pick up either one of those two or both of them, oh my God. But I digress. The Rams should go after one of them. I tell you that. They need that strong running game. Without it, it's going to be tough. Just like the Cardinals' schedule is tough, the Rams play the same teams. But it's when they play them. That's the saying I stole from Jerry. It's not who you play, it's when you play them.
That's right.
And it's going to be rough. But I think the Rams have an outside shot of coming in second. Will that be enough to make the playoffs in the NFC? If you get 9 wins in the NFC, you stand a chance of making the playoffs. Just my thoughts. What do you got on the Rams, JT?
What's that now?
What are your thoughts on the Rams?
I guess I told you before, I think the Rams are going to be the NFC version of the Los Angeles Chargers. You don't know what you're going to get or what type of team it's going to play from week to week. It's going to be highly inconsistent. Matthew Stafford reminds me of Justin Herbert. And the rest of the Rams team reminds me of the Chargers. So you got that combination of you don't know what you're going to get from Matthew Stafford. You don't know what you're going to get from Justin Herbert. He's got a ton of talent, but that talent was, and we know this because we had him on our team last year. He was up and down. You never know what you're going to get. You're going to get an all pro start from him, or you're going to get a trash type, a mediocre. You didn't know. So
Okay,
I think that continues. I know he's got a new coaching staff, a new offensive coordinator, but you got to show me. I got to see it.
I got you. And we're going to talk about the AFC West next week. But I'm going to caveat what you just said by saying when your top 2 wide receivers are in and out of the lineup all year, you're going to get that herky-jerky performance from the quarterback because you're not using your main 2 receiving threats. So I acknowledge what you said, but I also have to throw in there Keenan Allen in and out, Mike Williams, who's Mr. Independent with me, in and out. And you're depending on your tight ends and your running back. Your running back should not be getting 120 receptions or over 100 receptions in a season. But that's what happened. Austin Eckler caught the ball over 100 times last year. I don't see Matthew Stafford checking it down to Sony Michel or Cam Akers 100+ times.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening to Austin Eckler.
Well, it already happened. He did it last year. But we'll talk about the AFC West next week. So, do you have anything else you want to say about the Rams before we get into the schedule?
Let's go. Let's do it. No.
All right, week 1. Listen, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because this is Jerry's team that he's banking on this year. Seattle Seahawks. It's in Seattle. Geno not throwing for 300 yards this game.
He doesn't have to.
Kenneth Walker not running for over $120 in this game. I think the Rams are going to play a lot tougher than most people, to include Jerry, think. I'm giving the first win to the Rams, week 1.
I have the Rams losing this game. They're going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah, I agree. But like I said, 9 wins in the NFC, I believe, get you in the playoffs. Next game, San Francisco. What do you think before I give my thoughts?
Loss.
I agree. I can't even, deny it.
Seattle loses.
We're not talking about Seattle. We're talking about the Rams.
I'm sorry. I mean, the Rams lose.
Yes.
Sorry. The Rams lose.
Yes. At Cincinnati. Listen.
Rams lose.
I agree. But I think it's going to be a shootout. I really do. Now, week 4, they go to Indianapolis. They have a chance to go 2-2. I think the Colts are going to be behind a lot of folks with the young team. So I'm definitely giving this to the Rams.
You giving that? You're going to give them a win, right?
Yep.
Okay. Home against Philly.
What'd you get? Did you get the Rams win or loss?
If I disagree, I'll let you know.
Okay. I mean, that, you didn't let me know that ahead of time, so I didn't know. All right. They're going to be against Philly. Listen, I know it's at home, and Philly doesn't always travel that well, but I just think Philly is a monster, and they're going to dominate and beat the Rams.
Remember, people, the Rams don't have Jalen Ramsey anymore. They don't have anybody. They're a backside. They're DBs. They're JAGs. They're just the guys. All right, they're just guys. and you got two top flight wide receivers, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. That's a win for the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, we already gave them a loss to Arizona, so we'll skip over that. Just put the L over there. Pittsburgh, ooh, but it's at home. As I said when we did the NFC North, the AFC North, I think Kenny Pickett and company are turning that corner. I got to give this to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
What you got?
No problem. I like the Rams in that game. Okay.
Here's an upset. Week 8. I actually think Dallas has a chance to win the NFC East. They're not going to. But this is going to be a hit to their ego when the Rams come into Dallas on a Fox widely televised game. I think it's probably going to be the game of the week. Week 8. And the Rams upset the Cowboys. I got the Rams beating the Cowboys.
Oh my God. You have the Rams beating the Cowboys. Like I said, when I disagree, I disagree. I like the Rams in it. I like the Rams to lose this game. And you have the Rams winning this game.
Yeah, okay.
So
week 9.
Second game on the road against Green Bay.
Second game on the road, which is tough, but I don't think Jordan Love is worth it. I know there's a lot of young talent over there in Green Bay, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The defense is probably not there. Cooper Kupp goes off. I got the Rams beating Green Bay.
Before Matthew Stafford was with the L.A. Rams, he was with the Detroit Lions and played the Green Bay Packers twice and played their defensive scheme twice before he moved on to the NFC West. That's the reason why I like the Rams to win this game.
I thought you weren't going to say anything unless we disagreed. But okay, all right. Change the rules on me. All right, here we go. Seattle. After the bye week, so get bye week 10. Listen, I know I had the Rams winning in Seattle. I think Seattle returns the favor when the Rams are at home and beats the Rams. I got Seattle winning that game.
All right. So you and I have both the Rams and Seattle split. That's not a problem. Okay.
Yeah. We're going to skip Arizona because we already know both games there. Tough game here, week 13, with Cleveland. Now, I don't think Cleveland is that good of a team, but I do think Cleveland's good enough to beat the Rams. It's indoors. It's December, so it's really not a big deal. I think Nick Chubb is better than any running back they face thus far. Outside of Christian McCaffrey. So I gotta give it to Cleveland. I know you picked Cleveland, so we're just gonna go ahead and skip. Go to Baltimore.
Now, I disagree. I'll let you.
You're already changed the rules on that already.
At Baltimore.
Rest me, bro. I want to set this up real quick. Week 14. Baltimore is not reeling, but they're looking for some wins. Lamar's going to have to throw the ball a lot because I still don't have confidence in the secondary of Baltimore. I don't think they have anybody that can cover Cooper Kupp. This is a game where either Austin or Jefferson's going to have to step up if they stand a shot at this. But also look at the fact that Odell Beckham Jr. is going to play versus the Rams, the team he won the Super Bowl championship with. I think the Ravens have way more weapons, and I don't believe I'm saying this, way more weapons for the outside than the Rams. Go figure. But can Lamar get it to him on a consistent basis? That's going to be key for me. That's going to be key for me. I got the Rams losing to Baltimore.
Okay.
All right. I guess you don't disagree, so we'll move on. They host the Washington Commanders. I am not being a homer before anything comes out of JT's mouth. They may sound like that. But I think Washington got a shot at being a dark horse. And in order to start climbing that hill, they got to beat a team like the Rams. They got to beat them. I saw something on Bleacher Report asking who's going to have more touchdowns, Antonio Gibson or Brian Robinson. I'm saying Brian Robinson. I believe Brian Robinson is going to be that workhorse. I honestly think Antonio Gibson might not even make the team, or he's going to get traded. But if Washington rounds and pounds this Rams team, I think they have the secondary that can corral Cooper Kupp. Meaning they don't have one player that can cover Cooper Kupp. They're going to need a safety, a linebacker, and a corner, and force the other receivers, running back, and Higbee to beat them. I don't think the Rams can do that. I got to pick Washington.
Like I said, I'm only going to comment if I have to disagree, and I disagree.
All right. So
An NFC East team going
so
from,
you do disagree.
I do disagree. The
I'm ready for the team to drop.
The NFC East team going to the West Coast. I like the Rams to win this game.
Fair. It's fair. Week 16. Interesting matchup because I think both teams are it's a Thursday night game. That's got to be Thanksgiving because is it Thanksgiving? I'm not sure. No, it's not. It's in December, but it's a Thursday night game. Week 16. New Orleans travels to Los Angeles. New Orleans is going to be in a battle to win the NFC South. I don't think they're going to win the NFC South. They're going to be in a battle to do so. Mike Thomas is squatting 500 pounds. But that's in the weight room. Is Mike Thomas going to be on the field? That's a question. Mike Thomas on the field with Olave, maybe Alvin Kamara, and I love me some Derek Carr. I got to get this to the Saints. Only because I'm going to believe that Mike Thomas is going to be there. If Mike Thomas is not there, I got the Rams. But for the record, right now, I'm picking New Orleans. JT.
Let's move on.
At the Giants. Okay, look. You got to understand something. Saquon Barkley is serious about not playing this year. So is Josh Jacobs. Both of them are serious. They got 9 more days to sign that contract. 9 more days. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm going to hedge my bet and say Saquon is going to sign that contract and that he's going to be on the Giants. And a comment, I want to get your thoughts on this before you talk about the game, JT. Darius Slayton said in an interview, he's a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. He may be a number 1 wide receiver on the Giants, but not in the NFL, in my opinion. He's going to run to a guy that is a real legit number 1 in Cooper Kupp. But the problem is the Giants have more firepower. More firepower. Darren Waller, Saquon, Darius Slayton. My boy from Tennessee, University of Tennessee. I just think the Giants are going to steamroll them. It's in New York. That's why. In the winter, December 31st. I got to give it to the Giants. Which you got, JT? Excuse me.
Let's move on to the next game.
Last game of the season. Look, this is their last chance to get a shot in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they don't get it. And it's at San Francisco, last game of the season. Think about this. The 49ers can rest any quarterback they want. They can rest Debo if they want. They can rest CMC if they want. They're still going to win this game. I got San Fran sweeping.
Okay. You have the Rams winning exact same as I have, 6-11.
No, I thought I was like at 8 because 2 of those games were versus Arizona. I got them beating Seattle opening the season. That's 1.
I got the 2 games against Arizona.
Yeah.
You got them beating first game in Seattle.
Yep.
Indianapolis.
Okay.
Arizona twice.
Yep.
Dallas and Green Bay. That's
Yep.
it. That's it.
No. I got them beating. Oh crap! You're right. Wow.
Okay. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought I had them better than that. I thought I had them at least at 9 and 8. But okay. Hey. Here's what it is. Okay, JT. I got them at 6-11. You got them at 6-11 as well?
Yes, sir.
Just different games, right?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, we're not far off in our predictions as far as thinking similarly. It's just different games. Here's a question. You didn't answer it, but I asked about the 49ers.
What about them?
That game, does it really matter who the quarterback is in that game, in your opinion?
What game? 49ers and who? The Rams?
Yes, that was the question I asked you at the beginning.
Well, they don't play. They play the second game of the season. Okay.
No. Before I started talking about the last game, I asked you a question. Does it matter which quarterback is playing in the last game of the season?
No, it won't matter. It won't matter.
As well as if they bench CMC, if they bench Debo, do you think the Rams, with their starters, could still beat the backups of the 49ers?
No, because CMC's backup right now, as long as he stays healthy, is Eric Mitchell, and he's a very good back. So they're not really losing a lot when they put a backup in there. Even if it's Mason, who's the I think he's the third back in San Francisco, they're not really losing a lot. I mean, Chris McCaffrey is the starting running back, but those running backs, if Chris McCaffrey gets hurt, you're not losing a lot. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell is no joke. He was the starter for some reason.
I just told you that.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I already knew that. I knew that. I'm agreeing with you.
I just said that. I mean, they're not losing a lot. So they're going to mainly run the football, and Kyle Shanahan, considering it's a division rival, considering that it may be an important game for playoff seeding, they're going to go all out. Even if they don't play the starters, as in a running back, especially because He's an all-purpose back. He's the best team on their player. I'm talking about CMC. So if they don't play him, they're going to put Elijah Mitchell in there and whoever else is going to back him up. I think the quarterback's going to stay in. I don't think they're going to bench the quarterback. But I think it's going to be an important game for San Francisco. So I think they're going to want to, I wouldn't say get them their best foot forward, but they're going to get a concerted effort. Let me put it that way. So
Okay. Now, I kind of disagree with you as saying that this is going to be an important game for San Francisco. I honestly think San Francisco is going to have one of the best records in NFL this year. They're going to fall short of going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, but I think they're going to get to at least the championship game. That's what I think.
okay.
But when I talk about San Francisco right now, let's talk about JT's Seahawks or Geno's. Now, week 1, we don't have to talk. Well, we don't have to talk about. You already know I gave Seattle a loss. You gave Seattle a win. So let's go to week 2. Week 2 versus the Lions. Listen, I think this is going to be an explosive game. I don't know what anybody else is going to think, but I think it's going to be an explosive game. This is where Jerry needs Geno to be Geno of last year, because Hutchinson and company, they're coming. The offensive weaponry is there. The talk of sports talk a little bit this week has been the quarterback play in Detroit. The question was, some of the comments was a quarterback used as a scapegoat as to why the Rams didn't win that first Super Bowl? Was the quarterback. And you and I have said this before. Jared Goff probably isn't that good, or we've said he isn't that good. I'm going to say to those people that brought those comments up, it really wasn't Goff's fault they didn't win the Super Bowl that first time. It was the fact he didn't have his guy, Cooper Kupp. And the fact Jerry's guy, Mr. Cook, dropped a game-winning touchdown in the end zone. He got hit. He did get hit. But Jared Goff put the ball on the money in that Super Bowl game. Cook just dropped it. He got hit. Goff has a lot of weaponry and a great offensive-minded coach. Offensive coordinator that I feel as though should have been a head coach this year. And you give him a young, explosive weapon in Gibbs. Now, I'm not saying Gibbs isn't that good. I just don't think he should have been drafted so high, but that's what Detroit wanted. Walker, and Jigba Smith, Lockett, DK, y'all gonna need Geno to be what JT said he's gonna be this year, a repeat of last year, especially in this game. Week 2, I think Detroit's gonna lose to Kansas City week 1, so they're looking for a rebound game, and they're gonna beat Seattle week 2 at home. JT.
Shootout. This is going to be a shootout.
I agree.
This is going to be a shootout. Whoever gets the ball last is going to win this game. You got 2 veteran quarterbacks. I know a lot of people underestimate Geno Smith, but they're playing inside in ideal conditions. And they do have some very good weapons. Wide receivers and running backs. Running backs, that's plural. So what I'm saying is, it's all guns out on both sides of these teams, Detroit and Seattle. This is going to be a shootout. But, and I say but, I like
I'm listening.
I like Detroit to win this game.
All right, yeah. The Genos don't have it. All right, week 3.
No quarterback goes undefeated. Okay, there's only one quarterback that did that. That's Dan Marino.
No, it wasn't Dan Marino. It was Greasy.
I'm Bob Greasy. I'm sorry. Wrong, right team, wrong quarterback. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Next game. My opinion, easy game for them. Seattle hosts Carolina. Carolina's still trying to find themselves. It's only week 3. I think Seattle bounces back off that loss and puts it on Carolina. Now remember, Carolina has a very good defense. They just had inconsistency out of Sam Darnold, out of Baker Mayfield, out of the 4 different quarterbacks they started last year. I don't know if Mr. Young is going to be the answer week 3. I got to go with Seattle.
Same here. Move on.
All right. They go to New York. They come across country. It's early on, so the weather really isn't a factor. This is going to be a tough game, too. We both agree that New York has vastly improved their defense, especially last year. Will it remain tough this year? I think they're very similar offensively. Geno might be a hair better than Danny Dimes. But I got Saquon being way better than young running back in Seattle. I believe the defensive backs of the Giants and Wink Martindale playing man-to-man, they might get burnt a little bit because DK can fly. And I know the Giants signed or drafted the young buck out of University of Maryland, who's an excellent man-to-man coverage guy, but he's not as fast as DK. And Jigba has speed. Lockett is okay. It's going to be a tough game, really tough game, but I got to give it to Seattle.
You gave it to Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree.
But here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. They got a bye in week 5. And they're going to get beat up for the rest of the season. So they come back after the bye going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to whoop that tail. They're going to whoop that tail. I don't need to get into any semantics. I think they're going to whoop that tail. JT?
I give them the loss against Cincinnati.
Okay. You've already given them a loss to Arizona. Or you split with Arizona, right?
Yep.
With Seattle?
Yep.
Okay, well, I gave them a loss. I gave them a win. They're sweeping. Week 8. Don't be late. Here in Seattle, Cleveland comes to town. To me, outside of the receivers, this is a mirror match. I think Deshaun is better than Geno, but Geno has better weapons at the receiver position than Deshaun. If Deshaun gets Hopkins, that changes the dynamic. I think Kobe and the other corner, they're going to do a very good job against Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and they're going to lock up tight end Njoku. But it's going to come down, in my opinion, to Chubb versus Walker. That's where I think it's going to come down to. And I think Chubb's going to win that out. So I got to give it to Cleveland.
You're giving the win to Cleveland?
I am.
Well, let me enlighten you. I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I'll say it again this week.
There we go.
Cleveland hasn't won in Seattle since the 80s. Since the 80s.
Okay.
Every time they play Seattle, in Seattle, they have not won since the 80s.
That's fine.
We're talking about over 30 years, maybe 40 years. It ain't happening. And this is my team. I'm giving Seattle the win. I'm giving Seattle the win.
All generational curses are broken at some point.
Okay.
At some point.
At some point, and at some point, they keep on wishing, but history has a habit of repeating itself too. So
it does. It does.
I'm just saying, for whatever reason, and the 12th man in Seattle, it makes a difference.
I agree.
And the histrionics of Cleveland going to Seattle and playing, and they haven't won since the 80s. I know my team is very good and being underestimated, but that's fine. But I think because they do have a capable offense and a very underrated defense in Seattle, I like Cleveland in this game. I mean, I like Seattle in this game.
Well, that's the end of October. And here, during that time frame, the rainy season begins. And if it's going to be raining like that, that's why I'm putting it down to Walker versus Chubb. And I don't think the receivers are going to be that big of a threat, in my opinion. And I know Seattle's used to throwing the ball in the rain. They got it. But I just think it's going to be a ground and pound game. All right. Speaking of ground and pound.
Bold statement. I think Kenneth Walker is going to get hurt before this game.
Why are you wishing that on that man?
I'm not wishing it. Look. I'm putting it out there.
You said it's a bold statement. That means you believe it's going to happen.
It's a bold statement. I just have a gut feeling. I had a gut feeling with another running back, and I have a gut feeling with this running back that he's going to get hurt before week 7 or 8, somewhere around there. He's going to get hurt before that. I'm just saying. Just saying. What are you saying?
In other words, y'all, he don't want y'all to draft Kenneth Walker because he don't draft Kenneth Walker. All right, let's move on. Baltimore, week 9 in Baltimore. Again, Lamar Jackson has all these weapons. They have a power run game, but can Baltimore put it together? I'm telling you, Bobby Wagner's back in Seattle. That defense is going to be on fire. This is going to be a tough game for Baltimore. I know originally when we did the AFC North, I gave this game to Baltimore, but I got to change my mind. I really do, because I'm not sure about that secondary in Baltimore. That's why I'm changing my mind on the prediction here. I think Geno's going to throw for 3 bills in this game. I got him upsetting Baltimore.
Oh. Okay.
In Baltimore.
I have to disagree. I think they're going to lose in Baltimore, but, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. No problem.
All right, we're going to move on. Week 10, they stay in the DMV area. Excuse me, no, they don't. They go home, and the DMV, or Washington, comes to Seattle. And I will be buying tickets to that game. Matter of fact, I'm going to buy the tickets right now. No, I'm going to leave this open so I can buy the tickets after this, because I'm going to that game. I've been waiting a long time for my team to come out here.
You're going to wait for your long time for your team to come out here and lose? Come on, man. I'm picking Seattle to win this game. They're playing in Seattle.
So am I. But you ain't got to do. You know what? You're poo-poo. You're such a jerk for that.
I keep it real.
You're such a jerk for that.
At least I'm consistent. I keep it real.
Whatever. I'm going to pick Seattle to win this game. And I got to find some tickets to that game. Because I'm going to go. Here we go. Next game. Ooh, there's a lot of seats available too. For $400, yes, I will go. I will go right behind the bench. I'm going to pay $400 for these tickets. I really am. I'm sorry. I'll be on the Washington football team side. Why are the tickets for Washington More than daggone Seattle. Anyway, whatever. Losers. They go to the Rams. Week 11.
I'm speaking.
I got the Rams winning that game. Well, we skipped it. You're right. And we're skipping San Fran because we already picked that game as well. No, we haven't, because we haven't gone over San Fran yet. As I said, San Fran is, in my opinion, going to have one of the best records in all of football next year. So I'm definitely giving, and I know they always play tough. They always play them tough. I gave San Fran the first game, right? I did. Because they haven't played them yet. This is the first game. All right. Since it's at home, I'm going to give it to Seattle. What you got?
I got him. Seattle having a loss in that game.
Okay. I got them splitting, so I'm definitely going to have San Fran winning in week 14.
Okay.
But there's another big game. Week 13 at Dallas. Bro. It's going to be a tough game. Only reason why I'm going to get it to Dallas is because it's in Dallas. That's it. I honestly think these two teams are even with Geno at quarterback. I think these two teams are even. Michael Gallup has to bounce back. It's year 2 after the ACL and the Achilles injury. CeeDee Lamb is the number 1. Cook is the other third receiver who's no slouch. The question is, can Tony Pollard be that bell cow? And will they bring back Zeke? Or try to sign Dalvin? I don't know. Or even Leonard Fournette. Who knows? But they're going to need a big power back. But because it's in Dallas, I got to give it to the Cowboys. JT.
I got the Dallas Cowboys winning that, so I agree with you. I like
All right,
that. I like
week
that.
14. Okay.
Go ahead.
Week 14, as I said, I believe they split with San Fran, so San Fran wins this game. Do you have them splitting or do you have them sweeping? Do you have them splitting as well? Because you gave San Fran the first win in Seattle.
I have them to sweep.
Okay. All right. Philly. Woo! Week 15. It's here in Seattle, but Philly is just that much better. They're the Philly Georges. The Philadelphia Bulldogs. I think they're going to maul Seattle. Week 15, I think they're going to maul because this is their clinching the NFC East game, in my opinion. Because I just think Philly is just that much better. Honestly, there's no real rhyme or reason. I just think Philly's that much better. So I got to give it to Philadelphia to win this game. What you got?
I agree.
Okay. Last 3 games of the season are winnable. At Tennessee, I got them beating Tennessee. Home for Pittsburgh, I got Pittsburgh winning that game. And finishing the season at Arizona, I got them winning that game. What you got for the last 3?
I agree with. I think they beat Pittsburgh, and
Wow.
I think they beat Arizona. But they're playing Pittsburgh in Seattle, so I think they're gonna beat Pittsburgh in Seattle.
So they're going to win the last 3 games?
Tennessee, I think they win against Tennessee, and I think they win against Pittsburgh, and they win 3 games. Last 3 games.
I don't think they finished that good, but okay. So your final record and my final record.
What did you say about the first game against the Rams?
Remember, I said the Rams were going to win that game.
Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you give them 7 and 10. I give them 10 and 7.
Okay. I mean, it's a tough division and a tough schedule, They might get 9 to 10 games. So that's plausible. But I don't think they make the playoffs. That's the difference. I don't think they make the playoffs. You have them making the playoffs with a 10-win record. Once we go to San Francisco, that'll determine if we have them as the division winner or the wild card. But I got them just missing the wild card. All right. Let's go to the schedule of the San Francisco. Well, not go to the schedule. Let's talk about San Francisco 49ers. To me, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan's system revolves around the quarterback. It plays to the strength of the quarterback. If it's Sam Darnold, if it's Trevor, if it's Brock Purdy, I honestly believe it doesn't matter as long as the quarterback makes the best decision. Now, San Fran does not throw the ball deep a lot. When Darnold was in New York, that's what they asked him to do, throw it deep. When he was in Carolina, they asked him to go medium to deep. In this system, you don't have to do that. And if you are listening to the reports coming out of San Francisco, they're praising Sam Darnold right now. And the guy they spent 3 first-round draft picks on, he's okay. They also were talking about trading him during the draft. This does not bode well for him. But I believe San Francisco has a very, very, very good opportunity to walk away with 12, 13 wins this year, even with their tough schedule. Again, it's not who you play, it's when you're playing. And that's more evident in game 1, week 1. Pittsburgh is a slow starting team, right? Week 1, they're going to have to blitz whoever the quarterback is. But if you think about it, Pittsburgh and Washington played very similarly. Not Washington, Pittsburgh and San Fran. They like to run the ball. I'm interested in seeing what the defense of San Fran looks like now that DeMeco Ryan is not the defensive coordinator, but most of the players are still the same. It's a very tough game for me to pick, JT, because I recall us sitting in Vegas looking at Pittsburgh and Cincinnati week 1 last year, and I see something very similar happening this year.
Make the pick.
I know it's tough. I'm going to say it's going to come down to a field goal, the last score, and I'm going to give it to Pittsburgh. No. San Fran. I'm giving you San Fran.
I got something writing on this, so I'm going with San Francisco.
Oh, you and Q?
Nemo.
Yeah, Q.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next game we can skip because we already talked about the Rams and San Fran. The Giants, week 3.
So wait a minute. At LA, I didn't know what you got.
We already did that previously when we did the Rams schedule. All you did is transfer that, which I said in that game.
Okay. Giants.
Yes.
Okay.
The Giants. This is going to be a litmus test for the Giants. I really think so. By this game, I think Purdy's back. If he's not already playing, it's in San Francisco. I think the Giants lose this game. San Fran comes out on top.
Okay, what about Arizona?
We already did this game. Remember?
What about Dallas?
Okay. Week 5, Dallas. Always a tough game. Always. It's at home Sunday night. Sunday night at home. If this were in Dallas, I'd give it to the Cowboys. But since it's at home, I'm going to give it to San Fran. I think, again, these teams are pretty close. I just think San Fran is a hair better. I really do. They don't have an answer for CMC. They don't. What linebacker is going to cover CMC out the backfield? They don't have one. Your thoughts? Or you going to agree with me or no?
Let's move on. At Cleveland.
At Cleveland. Easier game, even though they're on the road. Cleveland is okay, but not good enough. Not enough firepower. San Francisco.
I disagree, but that's okay.
At Minnesota.
At Minnesota.
I believe the Vikings are going to regress, man. I really do. And it sucks because I would like them to win the division, but they're not. I think Detroit will. And because of that, I don't think they have enough firepower on the offensive side of the ball and definitely not on the defensive side of the ball to stop San Fran. So San Fran wins this game.
Home against Cincy.
Okay. This potentially could be a Super Bowl matchup. Potentially. Week 8 at home. Cincy's very good. Very, very good. But they're not at home for this one. They're in San Francisco. And I believe the 49ers are going to win this game. Close game, but I got the 49ers.
I like Cincinnati in this game. I think it's too much firepower. Even though the defense they have in San Francisco, they're not going to negate all those weapons.
Okay. At Jacksonville, look, Jacksonville has improved a lot.
Why?
Yeah, after the bye, which is week 9. Week 10 at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's really good, but San Fran has had a week to rest. And I honestly think they're just better than Jacksonville. I really do. I got to give it to the 49ers.
I got the 49ers losing that game. 2 weeks ago, Jacksonville. I got to believe Jacksonville plays better at home. They're a totally different team playing at home than they are on the road. They struggle somewhat on the road, but playing at home, they play lights out at home. And I think Jacksonville's got more than enough weapons to negate whatever San Francisco throwing at them.
Okay. All right.
Home against Tampa
week
Bay.
11, home for Tampa Bay. Listen, I don't know if you heard the soundbite from their young DB that said the entire division of the NFC South is trash, and all they got to do is keep doing what they do, and they'll win the division. Young Buck, San Francisco's going to whoop y'all's butt, whether it's Trask or Baker. San Fran. I'm not even going to comment no more. San Fran.
Next, we move on at Seattle.
We already talked about that game. Remember?
Huh?
We talked about that game when we talked about Seattle's game. Seattle's schedule. Remember I said they were going to split.
Okay.
All right. At the Eagles. This is going to be a rematch of the NFC Championship game. Purdy is going to be playing. The Eagles are going to lose this game. I say that with a lot of confidence because I truly believe that San Fran is better overall than Philly. That doesn't mean Philadelphia's not going back to the Super Bowl. I just think Brock Purdy plays this entire game and Philly loses. What you got?
I think Philly wins that game. I like Philly.
Okay, skipping week 14 and 15 since we've already talked about those games. Week 16 at Baltimore. Baltimore comes out to San Francisco. Now here's the difference. It is Christmas. It's not in Baltimore, so the weather isn't a factor. It's rather mild weather in San Francisco around that time. It might be raining. But I got San Francisco beating Baltimore in that game.
I agree.
Yeah. San Fran goes to Washington. Look, as I said before, Washington is not at that level right now where they can compete with a team like San Francisco. Unless it's within their division, because like Jerry says, division games are tougher because you know the opponent more. But San Fran is going to beat Washington week 17. I don't see any. There's always a way. There's always a way, but I don't believe Washington has enough to beat San Fran, even in week 17.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The Rams, the last game?
Yep, and we already talked about that.
Okay. So you have the San Francisco 49ers at 15-2. I have the San Francisco 49ers 11-6.
Okay. Like I said, I believe San Fran's going to have one of the best, if not the best records in the NFL this year. I'm not saying another team's going to go 16-1 or another team's going to go 15-2. But looking at the schedule and what this team has, San Francisco is on the precipice of being a juggernaut. Really being a juggernaut. Hold on, what did Chris say? Yankees said 6-1 Yankees. I know that. I told you your Cubs were going to lose. I told you that. But Chris also says this. I'll take the Jags versus 49ers too. Some teams may be better than the Jags, but the buzz here in Jacksonville is the Jags feel they are better than everyone else. Chris, I would agree with that if Jacksonville weren't playing most of their games in London this year.
They love playing in London. That won't make a difference.
I got it. But until Jacksonville Stadium gets renovated or whatever, they got to find somewhere to play. Right? So Jacksonville is a very good team. Do not get me wrong. Trevor Lawrence is a very good quarterback. But I don't think, even with Calvin Ridley, the guy Jerry stole from me, that beef, I don't think, if he throw in his hands, I got some money on it. I got some money on it too. Because we already got one bet. I don't mind betting on this one either. But I don't think Jacksonville, and I think that's in London. I got to see if that game's in London or not.
Yeah, it'll make whatever.
But San Fran's not going to lose Jacksonville. I mean, if you want to put something on it, keep rubbing your hands.
Oh, no, I'm waiting for the next subject.
Oh.
Oh, no, I'm waiting for the next.
Well, you know what?
Coming up next.
Wait a minute. Go into the chat and invite people to jump on because we're about to talk about the league. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching us do the NFC West breakdown. Stay with us, though, because I want some of your thoughts on some of the league politics going on in this one fantasy football league that I run. And when I tell you there's some politicking, we got Mr. DeSantos over there in JT causing all types of problems. We got everybody in there dogging me out, and I'm the commissioner, and all I'm trying to do is provoke conversation, right? But people want to be difficult. So JT's going to plug everybody in. I believe JT can invite people as well. If not, just tell me who wants to come on and tell me their email, and I will bring them on. But here's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. About a month ago, No, it's been more than a month. About a month and a half ago, I invited my Fantasy Football League members to come on this show. Come on this show to discuss possible league changes. I was hell bent on making these changes because I'm tired of all of the complaining, all of the whining, all of the hate that I was receiving. All because I'm the commish. If you play fantasy football and you know what a super flex is, it's very simple, but if you don't, let me explain what a super flex is. This is the first topic of discussion. A super flex allows you to have a tight end, running back, wide receiver, or quarterback in your lineup. A regular flex does not allow you to have a quarterback in that one position. Everybody's up in arms except for several people who have sided with me, but I don't vote. I will not vote on this rule change unless there's a tie. And it looks like it might be a tie. But this rule change is to spice the league up. The parameters are, people were complaining last year that the quarterback scoring was too wild and too high. For the past, 15, 18 years I've been running this league, everybody's been complaining about scoring, so every year I change the scoring. One of the comments were, you probably have more committed people if you didn't change something every year. You know what? That's an ingenious thought, but you guys complain too much about the scoring, so I changed it to keep you guys happy. And by the way, it's a 12-team league, and I showed at least 9 people have been in this league consistently over the past 15, 16 years. So I have consistency. I just have some people that needed to be removed. We had a radical Trump supporter. I don't care if you support Donald Trump or not, but he was radical. The messages he sent me in private.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had to ban him and block him.
Oh.
After he complained about several things. We lost to 2 individuals, one very close to me and Jerry, because he was one of the originators of the FSP cruise show. May Jeff rest in peace, Jeff Goldberg. And Alasupo died tragically in a car accident. Right? So that's 3 people I've had to replace over the years. Then you have people coming in and out who like it, but they get their feelings hurt because of some of the things that are said. Then you have people that have retired from fantasy football, which is cool. So I've had to replace people here and there, but then there are times where people tell me at the very last minute, like 1 week before we have to pick our keepers or the balance of their league fee is due, I can't do it. So as a commissioner, I have to go out so the league stays active and either find somebody or reduce the number of owners in the league because Yahoo will not allow you to draft in an uneven number of teams. Right?
Yep.
So I've had to do that. I had to go from like 12 to 10. Almost had to go from 10 to 8 at one point. I've had to deal with people paying late or just before the deadline. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not expensive to play in this league.
Nope.
Not at all.
Nope.
All you have to do is say, I'm not going to buy those cigarettes this week, or for several weeks, I'm not gonna buy McDonald's, I'm not gonna do this, that, and the third, and you'll have your entry fee by August. But yet, I have to give people extensions. But that's neither here nor there. That's a topic I'm gonna bring up when everybody else comes on. But the Superflex has caused half the league to attack me. Well, not half, because if it were half, we wouldn't have the subject matter. There's one vote left to remove the Superflex. 5 people have said we don't want the Superflex. But last year, when I put it up for vote, it failed 6-5. 6-5. Maybe some people changed their minds. But JT, since nobody else has jumped on to defend, you have the honor of defending the entire league and why. Yay or Superflex? I don't know what yay or nay. Superflex. Talk to me. You can defend it because nobody wants to jump on
man. Why do you want to screw it up? You're gonna have
Screw it.
wait a minute. You just told me
Go ahead. I'm saying I'm changing the music. That's all. Go ahead.
You gonna let me talk?
Bro, I just said go ahead and let me change the music.
Okay. You got 12 teams. 12 teams with one quarterback. You got a lot of flexibility and able to get another quarterback at any time if it's a flex. But you want to make it a super flex, so more or less it's mandatory to get another quarterback.
It's not mandatory. I didn't say it was mandatory.
Look, when somebody makes it a super flex, you know exactly what's going to happen. People are going to be jumping for 2 quarterbacks. Don't be like you don't know. So that's 24 quarterbacks, because I guarantee if one person, 1 or 12 is drafting, all in between, including the 1 and 12, are going to be looking for the second quarterback, so they're not left out. So you got 24 quarterbacks out of 32 that are in the team that are going to be on somebody's roster. Come on, man. Come on.
So
really?
With that being said, hold on. With that being said, that is accurate. That's an accurate statement. But what he didn't mention is you're only allowed to carry 2 quarterbacks.
That's bad. That's bad. Horrible.
That is not bad because it forces the general manager or owner of that team, whatever you want to call them, to make a decision. Am I going to play a positional player when that quarterback goes on by, or am I going to drop one of my 2 quarterbacks to pick up somebody off of waivers to fill that spot? Or if one of my quarterbacks goes to injured reserve, can I now pick up another quarterback? Why, yes, you can. Because he's on injured reserve. He's not on your active roster. Now, when that player comes off of IR, you gotta make a decision.
Let me ask you
because you can't carry more than 2.
Let me ask you a question. How many running backs do you have, or wide receivers do you have on your team?
Do I have or allowed to have?
Allowed to have? No. On your starting roster. I'm being more specific.
Okay.
On your starting roster.
We start 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and a flex position, which could be a wide receiver, tight end, or running back. I normally start, if you're asking me that question.
So let me ask you.
Are you asking the makeup of the rosters for everybody, or what I do? That's the question I need.
So let me ask you.
Can you clarify that for me? Because I start the better positional player, whether it's running back or wide receiver.
So I'm throwing a flex out there. They're starting 2 running backs. Okay.
But I could start 3.
How can you? Okay, wait a minute. You start
in the flex position.
In the flex position. But how many are allowed on the roster?
4.
Oh, 4 allowed on the roster, but only 2 quarterbacks are allowed. Makes no sense.
Well, it
Makes
makes
no
plenty of
sense.
sense. It makes plenty of sense
Makes
because
no sense.
it makes, well, to somebody that doesn't understand, it makes no sense. So let me explain it. It makes sense because how many wide receivers are there that start in the NFL? At least 2 per team. That's 64 wide receivers that start, right?
Okay.
So if I have 64 that start and a plethora of third wide receivers, fourth wide receivers, that means you have a larger pool to choose from. Whereas, as you said, right, there's only 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So if I tell you you're only allowed to keep 2, period, that's 24.
Yeah, but
That leaves 8 in the pool for 12 teams. Now, that's why there's a 2 quarterback limit when it's a super flex. It's going to be a 2 quarterback limit regardless. But with the super flex, there is no, you can play your 2 versus only playing 1. I'm only allowing 2 quarterbacks per team regardless.
bad for business.
How is that bad for business?
Bad for business. You only allow 2 quarterbacks on the roster, but every other position is multiple, more than 2. So
Because there are way more of them in the NFL than there are of quarterbacks. How does that not make sense, Jay?
because the fact is you are limiting the amount of quarterbacks. Now, just like you said, it's up to a manager to manage his team if he has 2 quarterbacks. Okay. In the draft, that's part of managing your team. Am I right about that?
It's in the draft, it's in the waivers, it's in trades.
Okay. So what I'm saying is he's trying to manage his team and have the maximum availability of each position. Okay. Why stop him from managing his team if he wants to add a quarterback? A third quarterback.
I'm not stopping.
Yes, you are, because it's the
a third quarterback. Yes, I am stopping a third quarterback.
Yeah, that's managing his team.
But that's also a part of the rules and the settings. What's one thing we tell everybody before the season starts? Look at your settings before you draft.
I understand what you're saying, but you're pigeonholing a manager with the availability of a backup of a position he could use, as in a quarterback.
I'm doing that in every position, though. If I'm saying you are limited to 4 wide receivers on your team, I'm still limiting you. If I say you're limited to 4 running backs on your team, I'm still limiting you. If I say you're limited to 4 tight ends on your team, I'm still limiting you.
You're limiting the manager to be able to either have more of one position on his team versus another. So if you're saying, okay, you only can get 4 of each, wide receiver or running back. Well, you're limiting. You're pigeonholing into 4 running back positions or 4 wide receiver positions. And if you do a super flex, you're limiting him to only 2 quarterback positions. And so you're limiting him his ability to manage his team the way he wants to manage his team.
But Jerry, but that's my point. That's my point. Whether it's super flex or not super flex, I'm only going to allow a team to carry 2 quarterbacks. Unless one gets injured and placed on IR. That's regardless whether we have a super flex or not. So you're still limited to 2. You can only play 1 if you have the regular flex. You can play 2 if you have the super flex. I mean, a limit is a limit. But to me, let me explain to you what I'm hearing you say. I'm hearing you say, you're forcing me to play 2 quarterbacks because if I don't, I'm going to lose that week because somebody's going to play 2 quarterbacks.
Yes, exactly.
That might not be the case.
Oh.
Last year, how many times did we have quarterbacks lay eggs and didn't get over like 5 points or 6 points or 10 points in a game? The average running back will get you between 6 to 12 points a game.
Not necessarily. You know that.
I'm not saying necessarily that's the case, but I'm saying it has happened, and it happened last year and the year before that.
That happens every year, and it's
exactly.
You never know how's it going to work out. But the fact is, you put a limit on the amount of running backs, you put a limit on the amount of wide receivers, and you put a limit on the amount of quarterbacks. Why? And my question is, because I'm going to take it one step further. Why limit running backs? Why limit wide receivers? If you have a plethora of running backs and wide receivers, why limit them?
Okay, let's do 4 times 12. That's 48, right?
Wait a minute. You still?
I'm about to tell you. 4 times 12 is 48, right?
You have 32 teams. How about doing this? How about doing this? You got one quarterback, one running back per team. That's 32. 32 running backs.
Yeah, one. What, say that again because I'm missing your point.
Every team has a running back, at least one.
In the NFL, yes.
Yes, at least one. So that's 32 running backs, or 64, because you got 64 running backs that you could possibly put if you make it.
Well, the starter and the backup. Yeah.
Okay, and you got the same with wide receivers, 64. 64.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
so why limit it to 4 and 4? That's that's another one of my points. Why limit it?
Listen. Okay, I'll get a little philosophical and get a little political. I need you to follow me. It's out there, but I need you to follow me. Why do some countries limit how many children you can have?
This ain't a country.
It's
fantasy football. Come on.
I said, listen to me and follow me.
Stop.
Why do some countries limit?
You're reaching. You're reaching.
I want you to understand where I'm coming from. The countries limit the amount of children you're allowed to have because the resources of that country are limited.
Only one country that I know of does that. China.
There are many countries that do that. That's why I said I'm getting a little political. There are plenty of countries that do it. Just because you only know one does not mean they're the only ones.
But this is fantasy football. This is
fantasy. But I want you to get the metaphor here. Get the metaphor. You're reaching. No, get the metaphor.
You got to reach that far? You have to reach that far? Come on, man.
I'm trying to make you understand that when a country says, we don't have that many resources, but we want you to still have your children so we can grow.
Wow. You're unbelievable.
You are not allowed to have more than X amount of children.
You're unbelievable.
So since you can't have the X amount of children,
I wish
resources can stay
I wish other people would hear this because
I invited them on.
You're pulling it out.
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Come on, you had to go that way. Then you had to go, bro. There's other countries that limit. Come on, man.
You limit your resources when your resources are limited. You have to do some form of control. And we just went over the numbers. And that's not even including most teams go with 3 wide receivers on their starting roster now. That's 3 times 32, which is what? 96. That's 96 starters. Only team I know that don't go with, only 2 teams I know of that don't go with 3 wide receivers, and that might change this year, are the Patriots and the Ravens. But the Ravens got so much time at wide receiver now, they might go 3 wide. I'm just saying. So if your issue is the way that I am handling the resources of the league, okay, that's a viable concern. Y'all want to call me the dictator? Y'all want to call me the authoritarian? All this craziness. But people don't want to pay their fees on time. People want to complain about the scoring every year, and when I change the scoring, they want to say, you changed scoring, and that's why people don't want to stay. People want to say this, that, and the third. You know what it's like? It's like,
here we go with the reach. Here we go with the reach. Here we go with the reach. I know it's coming. You're reaching things out of the freaking sky. Come on, man. Come on.
I'm not reaching for nothing. What I'm about to say is, it's like giving a spoiled kid.
And you can justify
Wait
it.
a minute. It's like giving a spoiled kid everything they want, and they still complain about it. That's what it's like.
Yeah,
So
okay.
the fundamental difference is this.
Okay.
Here's the fundamental difference. You're allowed to play that second quarterback on your team with a super flex. You're not allowed to play that second quarterback on your team with a regular flex. Now, I'm going to run a gluten. I'm going to run a gluten-free, flex-free league. Come on over. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have bent, ladies and gentlemen that are watching, I have bent a little and said, instead of super flex or no flex, I've even said super flex or no flex, or we can keep the flex as is. That's fine. I'm still keeping the limits as they are. This crazy logic. Is that what you said, JT? Or did somebody on your page say that? Awesome. JT posted in our group. You'll have to listen to Vic on this link. Shake my damn head. Oh, 3 people done tuned in. Oh, okay. So you asking Chris? Hey, Chris, here's the question. You play fantasy. I don't know if you ever played in a league that has super flex or not. Are you if you have, are you a super flex type person, regular flex, or no flex? Basic question. And as I said, limitations are there for a reason. I have to protect the resources of this nation. I have to protect the resources of the neighborhood. If I don't, everybody's going to try to be doing what they want. JT makes a point about there not being enough QBs.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you.
That's fine, but this is why QBs but. Okay. He says but, so he's going to follow up with something. So my thought process is, again, if I'm telling you guys up front, which I am, I'm limiting regardless how many quarterbacks you have on your team. But now I give you the option to start both of them or just start one. The people that, in my opinion, you don't have to. Thank you. Say that again. You don't have to have 2 QBs. You don't. Some people just don't get it. I do love to run up the points. Also, if you're the manager of a team and the rule is yes to have super flex or flex, you should draft accordingly. Thank you. 2 comments. Drop squad 78. You don't have to have 2 QBs. I agree. And Chris, draft accordingly. Here's the thing. If you as a manager are so worried that somebody having 2 QBs on their squad is going to beat you every week, and that forces you to draft 2 quarterbacks and start 2 quarterbacks, that means you're not confident in the ability of the team you drafted. Super flex is a strat. Say it again. I'm going to hold that up there until we get another comment. Jerry's going to type another comment. JT, you can totally get Mac Jones in round 3. You're good. JT don't think Mac Jones is a good quarterback at all. But that's my point. It's a strategy. If you play the 2 QBs, cool. If you don't, cool. No one's forcing you to play 2 QBs. You feel the pressure. You, JT, and everybody else that has an issue with it, feel the pressure to play 2 QBs. That's what I'm hearing. Are you basically telling me just because Vic plays 2 QBs that week, I gotta play 2 QBs that week? Is that what you're telling me? Jerry. Oh, did you hear me? Can you answer the question? Can you answer my question, JT? Or is you going to ignore my question?
What I'm saying is this. It only takes one in the draft and grab a quarterback, and the dominoes will fall. And every team, they don't want to be left behind. Every team will draft a second quarterback, which is 12 teams, 24 quarterbacks with 8 left. And the limit is 2 quarterbacks on that team. How is that any kind of flexibility? Everybody's going to, once one team does it, then every other team's not going to want to be left out. That's
peer pressure. That's what that sounds like to me.
That happens with running backs. That happens with wide receivers. That happens with tight ends. That happens with running backs.
I'm gonna post this one more time.
That's when you see if running backs. When running backs start to go, people start going after running backs because they don't want to get left behind. When wide receivers, it's the same thing with wide receivers. They start drafting wide receivers when they don't want to get left behind. And they want to be able to grab a good wide receiver. They don't want to be left behind and grabbing good wide receivers.
So they're panicking.
So, not panicking. It happens all the time. It's not a panic. It happens all the time.
I'm gonna give you an example.
And you know that.
Well, so I'm gonna give you an example, JT. I'm gonna give you an example.
You know that.
Just listen up to me. Just hear me out.
Not everybody. When let me put it this way: everybody's going to be feeling at a disadvantage if they don't grab a second quarterback. If one or 2 teams grab a quarterback, they're going to say, "Oh, I got to grab a quarterback, otherwise I'm going to get left behind."
Okay, I mean that's the way a normal person feels. Let me ask you, how did you feel? This is a question directly to you. How did you feel when we were in Vegas last year and we were the only team to go 3 straight running backs? Did you have a problem then when everybody was drafting wide receivers then?
No.
Okay.
I'm drafting running backs.
And did we not get quality receivers?
Yeah, but wait a minute. You were allowed to use more than one running back, and you are allowed to use a lot more running backs and have running backs on your roster. You're limiting the amount of quarterbacks somebody can have as only 2.
Yes.
Okay?
Because I'm limiting how many receivers you have. Your running backs and tight ends.
I'm thinking
There's
about
a limit, period.
I'm not running scared. I'm never scared. I'm never scared. I played in Superflex. I have a Superflex league. I'm not scared of a Superflex league. I could care less. But what I'm saying, I'm thinking about somebody's going to come in and say, "Well, how come I can't grab another quarterback? My quarterback is hurt." And you're going to
because they got to put him on IR. And then they can grab another quarterback. I already said that. I said if that quarterback gets hurt, you can put him on IR and grab a third quarterback. But when he comes back off the IR, you have a choice to make.
Let me put it this way. There's been times, and you know that there's been times that the quarterback's been hurt, but he has not been eligible, or a player has not been eligible to go on the IR. There's been times an injury, maybe a late injury, and he's not eligible to go on the IR.
Are you talking about during the game, before a game, or after a game?
just before a game. You can get a last minute injury, and that quarterback doesn't go out until after the game starts.
So, okay, let me go with what you're talking about. So, let's say let's use Kyler, right? No. Let's use Josh Jacobs, because this is perfect. Last year, Josh Jacobs was questionable all week. 10 minutes before the game, because he was listed as doubtful, right? He was listed as doubtful. But you couldn't put him on an IR because he was doubtful and he wasn't out. Josh Jacobs comes in and runs for 300 yards versus Seattle and wins that game. Let's use Kyler. Kyler gets hurt. People are like, okay, well, he's on IR, right? So they pick up another quarterback.
Who the hell does drop squad?
Just wait. Let me finish. We're going to put his comment up. But I believe drop squad is trucked from the league.
Okay.
But Kyler was doubtful all the way up. So I was in a position where I get Colt McCoy or somebody else.
I gotta go.
What do you mean you gotta go?
I gotta go. I got somewhere to be. I gotta go.
But you want the okay, all right.
I gotta go. It's almost 3:30. I gotta go.
All right, don't be yelling at me. I'm just saying you brought it up and now you bouncing, so I'm like, why? Don't yell at me because you the one that brought the conversation up.
I'm letting you know I gotta go. And then you say,
okay. No, I just asked, what's up? What happened? Okay. Yes, Jay, like I said, truck. It's truck.
Okay, no problem.
Jay.
No problem.
And Jay's on your side, by the way. He voted not to have a super flex.
Okay.
So
no problem.
just understand that.
No problem. You know, look, let me put it this way. I'll go whenever the league goes. I don't care because I'm winning this league this year. I could care less. I'll go any way this league wants to go. But I need whoever needs to vote. Plain and simple. Just vote and see who.
Chris Van.
Come on, Chris. Vote.
Argani.
Come on.
And
vote.
And Tony.
Come on.
If Tony was on the show,
it's a yes or no.
He just moved to Colorado.
So
we're trying to get all settled in.
It's a yes or no. That's all simple. Yes or no. Whatever way it goes. I was one of the first to put up my money, so I'm willing to go.
Well, second technically, but yeah.
I'm one of the first to put up. Didn't I just say that? I'm one of the first.
I thought you said you were the first.
No, I said I'm one of the first. Yeah, I said that last year. Sooner or later, it's got to work. I know that. Anyway, I was one of the first to put my money up, saying I was willing to go either way. So, at least you got my part of my name, so I can go along with that. No problem. Hey, no problem. I throw it out there. I'm willing to take the hits. But you got to vote. You got to vote. I'll go either way. You got to vote. I can play either way. I've played either way. I run a Superflex league as it is. I play either way.
But okay, the difference in your Superflex league is you don't have any limitations then, huh? What's the difference between your Superflex and what I'm proposing? Before you leave, tell me the difference between the Superflex league you run versus what I'm saying. Why are you so opposed to it? Because you're running a league that has a Superflex. I would think you wouldn't be opposed to this.
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. It's a Superflex.
I'm interested in this.
It's a 10-team Superflex league, so you have more options in the quarterback position versus
10 versus 12.
Exactly. And Paris did it right because he had a 10-team league, not a 14-team league or a 12-team league. So you have more options. And the fact he allows a third quarterback to be on the roster. I'm just saying.
Listen. On his 14-team league, TSA 14, you have the option to play a quarterback. You don't have to start it. In the 10-team league, You have to start two quarterbacks.
And
that's the difference. So you're wrong about Paris getting it right. Paris did the way I'm trying to do it.
No. You put it as a super flex, and he has it as a OP. And OP is an offensive position, so you can have
the same thing. It's the same thing.
You can have.
Oh my God.
You can have
an
offensive position, so you can pick
quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Kickers don't count as offensive players. So it's just the semantics of a name. Offensive player versus super
like I said, I'll play either way. It is what it is. I'll play either way. So there's really not a need in the 14-team league to grab a second quarterback. It's an option because if in the super flex, you can
It's the same thing, Jay. It's literally the same thing. It's an option.
An offensive position is.
You know what? I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna change it to an OPS or OP as opposed to called a super flex.
Okay, no problem.
Does that change anything?
Like I said, I play either way. I signed up early, no matter what it was, Victor.
You did, and I applaud you for that.
Okay, I signed up no matter what it was. I was going to play in your league because I am loyal to your league. Remember that. Remember that.
I know. Have I ever questioned your loyalty to me or the league?
The league. I see.
I'm just saying.
I gotta go, man. It's been a pleasure. Tomorrow on the for no reason is my mock draft 7.0. 7.0 is my mock draft coming up on For No Reason. You find it on YouTube, you find it on Twitter, and you'll find it on Facebook. For No Reason. Gotta go. It's been a pleasure, as always, but I'm out of here. See ya.
Later, bro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. This has been one hell of a show because JT decided, okay, we're going to discuss this because I want to get off my chest. But he just proved my point, y'all. He just proved my point, literally. It's just the semantics of a name. An OP offensive player is the same thing as a super flex. And he's okay with the OP, but he's not okay with the super flex. So in other words, he's not okay with the name. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that. A truck, go in the chat and tell everybody what JT said. He's okay with having an OP, but he's not okay with having super flex. But it's the same thing. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Chris, as always, my brother. Love you. Sorry your Cubs are getting destroyed. Truck, thank you. I appreciate you jumping in here from the league and putting your opinion out there, even though you voted against the super flex, but you gave me a little love. I appreciate that. Anybody that tuned in, greatly appreciate you tuning in. Next week, we're going to be talking about the AFC West. The AFC West. So that's the Chiefs. Let's Ride Broncos. Las Vegas Wranglers, because they ain't no Raiders. And the Los Angeles Lightning Bolts, because they ain't charging nothing. But we'll see. Again, thank you all. Greatly appreciate the support that you guys give us. And tell a friend, bring them along. It's going to get spicy. Spicy. See y'all next week.
Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Get ready to rumble! You want to talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
Remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Jerry's going to get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
listeners are asking questions about this week's games,